Evil Dead.
Evil
Evil fucking Dead.
2013 remake Evil Dead Slay 9.
Slay 9. October 9th, 2021.
That's right.
Coming at you hot with Evil Dead, the remake.
Quite possibly my favorite remake of all time. Without
I
thinking hard about it.
and I wouldn't even really classify this as a remake per se, as more so as a soft reboot of the franchise. Because as far as I know, nobody, like it's not like we got a new Ash out of this because Ash was at the end.
Right, right. No, I hear you. Yeah, because there was always talk of Mia and Ash crossing over after this, and unfortunately, I don't know if we're ever going to get to see that, which hurts my heart so much.
We're not, because Bruce Campbell had officially retired as Ash. Never gonna play him again, at least in live action.
Yeah,
Sad, very sad.
it breaks my heart. At least we are getting another Evil Dead movie, though. We are, and I am very excited for it. It sounds like a cool premise. Evil Dead Rise. Um,
It does, and I feel like again, like it's kind of like this one that they're just instead of being like, oh, we could redo the whole thing and modernize it, and it's like, fuck it, man. Evil Dead,
I'll do
it's a
the story.
book.
Yeah, that's.
Just continue where we got.
I like that. Like, cause don't get me wrong, Ash is dope. Like Ash is Evil Dead. But at the same time, like I think this movie proves that he's not. You know what I mean? Like we don't need Ash to have Evil Dead. Like, and I think we talked about it a little bit the other day. Um, I think it was me and you about how when the original Evil Dead came out, like it wasn't considered like as funny as the rest of us find it to be today because of the way the effects like have aged. At the time, it was horrifying. It was one of the most horrifying things anybody had ever seen. It was disgusting. It was gory. All sorts of shit that like was just intense for the time. And I think that this is like the perfect like modernization of Evil Dead. Like, one could be like, "Oh, this is way too gory and all this other shit." It's like, "Oh, dude, this is just if the Evil Dead from back in the day had money and made it like today, like,
No,
and this
and
is
it's like,
a mistake,
yeah,
like, Raimi
they
produced, Campbell
they
produced.
it's like they took the original and what worked really good with it, and they were like, let's just stick to that, and let's modernize it. Like that's one of my favorite things about this. Still, the use of practical effects. They
Mhm.
could have used CGI.
Oh
They
man.
could they could have done some crazy stuff with a lot of stuff, but like I love the practical effects.
Mhm.
Like especially at the end when Mia's ripping her arm out. Oh my, give it to me.
This remake, I mean, even this movie is just one of like horror aside, it's one of my all-time favorite movies because it's one of my most influential movies. Like as a director, as a filmmaker, like this movie has had a lot of influence on me about the way I tackle certain things. And whenever the conversation of practical effects comes up, people are quick to go to the Thing or whatever, like Hellraiser, I guess, shit like that. But like for me, it's this. It is this movie because this is a movie that looks like it's filled with CGI and it's not. And it is such a gruesome movie. Like to this day, I've seen this movie so many times and I still got to look away at certain scenes. The scene where she's in between the walls and the machete's getting stuck through and it like goes across her knee. Oh my god, dude. Like every single time that happens, like there's not a time I've watched that I have not just fucking cringed twice over. Like just watching it go across her kneecap and slowly get pulled back out while she's trying not to scream and shit. I'm just like, oh my god, dude. But I watched this like whole bonus feature thing on the practical effects in this movie and was like blown away at some of the shit that was just practical effect. Like when the demon thing shows up at the end of this movie, um, like when he comes out of the ground, like they had like actual like the blood rain. That was all practical. They had like they dug a hole and put like like a fake hatch on top of it that the dude like came up out of, and all that shit. When Mia rips off her arm, I think that one's really cool too because they have that Jeep and then they built an exact replica of that Jeep out of styrofoam so that he could actually flip it. So they really did like flip the Jeep practically, and then they just went to an actual like Jeep on its side with the fake arm under it so that they could rip and everything. And like, wow, like fucking wow, like even some of the shots that look CGI is just camera work, and like when she gets possessed, like when with the little tree rape scene, and her eyes are all fucked up and the pull, like it's amazing. It is amazing to me.
No,
Um,
it really is. It's fantastic, and it's one of those movies that when you're watching it for the first time, there's just so many surprises within the movie. Like I remember going in and watching this movie and looking at it because I didn't know much about it when I went and seen it. I think I seen it in theaters.
I saw
Um,
this for a fact. I saw this in theaters a few times.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw this in theaters when it came out, and I wasn't really sure going into it what it was going to be like, and then knowing that they were trying to do something new with it. So then it's like the whole time I'm like, all right, so like, is this dude that's like kind of this main character here? Is this the new Ash? Is this who we're getting? Like, kind of looks like him a little bit, like they're trying, and then just have the movie just completely 180, and you realize, oh wait, Mia, his sister. She's the main character, and then you're like, okay, okay, now I'm fucking with this. It was almost
Too. Like the reason they're at the cabin in this one, I just like the reason a whole lot better. Like I think
no, and
it's
it makes sense then to when shit starts getting fucky, why they'd be like, she's just
right
relapsing,
relapse and yeah,
you
like
know, getting dope sick over there, so don't worry about her. And
trying to kick a heroin addiction. It's
yeah, modernized it to something more believable why these people would be there, and then they read from this book, and then shit gets crazy, and
rounded
it's
it a little bit.
yeah, and like I said, I liked it. They didn't, it's not like because like when I was saying earlier, they took what worked from the first movie and used this here. It's not like they took scenes that worked from the first movies and put it here. So
Well,
it's not like,
they did though, and that's
well,
what's
I mean, well, they
you know,
did, but like to me, the most iconic scenes from like the Evil Dead movies, it's not like, it wasn't like you had the guy character's girlfriend get possessed, but it's not like you had them go out to the tool shed, him cut her head off in the thing.
right.
That was to me a very iconic Ash scene and shit like that. So it's not like they took all those sorts of scenes and was like, we got to recreate
Well,
that here in
what's
the
cool is
movie.
like it's like they did like they're because and the reason like I noticed this was because when this came out in theaters, I actually got to see because if I'm not mistaken, I think this was my first like Evil Dead experience. Like I don't think I'd seen any of the others yet. I may have watched the original Evil Dead at home, like in preparation for this, and didn't really get it at the time, but like appreciated it more after the fact. But I caught Evil Dead 2 and the original Evil Dead at the Art Theater, like almost around the same exact time that this came out. And then after I saw Army of Darkness as well, I was like, okay. So they drew shit from all three of those movies. And if you're looking for it, like, there's the scene where like they're down in the basement in the water and stuff in this one, and the thing like comes up out of the water at her and everything, taken directly from Army of Darkness. Like that's the exact same shot from Army of Darkness. The scene where Ash is like they're looking around and the noises are coming from all the different directions and it's the constant like cuts, like they do that exact same shot in this movie. And the only reason I notice it is because I saw these movies back to back, and they do that so much in this movie, like but it's so subtle, and I think that's what's so cool. Like I think that's what elevates this as like one of the best remakes ever, because it knows how to use those things that work without being like, oh look what we're doing, like without blatantly ripping it off. They still create something new out of it, which is super
Well,
cool.
and that's what I'm getting at. It's not the obvious most iconic scenes that you would think that like most movies would do. You know what I mean? Like if you know, if you were gonna remake The Shining, I could see the end them doing the same iconic shot of someone frozen outside. You know what I'm saying? And you know, things like that. You didn't have somebody getting hit and going through the woods with the camera on them and them spinning around and shit like you had with, you know, the ones that I feel like if somebody else was more so in control, they'd look at those original ones and be like, yeah, the deer head should come to life and all this stuff. And, you know, and really play off the first, you know, the original ones as what they would feel a fan service. But I feel like this one's fan service is just like that for the more way in depth. You're like, oh shit, that one raised out of the water and shit did that shit the same way as in the Army of Darkness and whatnot.
The car,
Um,
the Raimi car shows up in this as it does in all Raimi movies, which
no,
I'm sure
yeah,
we'll see again next year in Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure that car will pop up.
and
But
it's
Chris
just
Cross, Ash shows up in that movie. Am I right?
I'm still holding out. I mean, I know it was April Fool's Day that he shared that script thing, but I think it would totally be a Bruce Campbell move to share the actual scene from a script on April Fool's Day so people wouldn't believe it. And then when they see it, they're like, that
Yes.
because I think that that would be
I'd
in a
say,
Doctor Strange movie, and especially where we know it's going. I feel like that would be a funny little scene to throw in. Have you seen this book? And you know, Ash being like, "Does it have a skin face?" No. Oh well, no.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, and even if it was one of those things where Bruce Campbell was like, "Oh, I'm done playing Ash. I don't want to do that." Even if just having the cabin
Mhm.
would be enough for me to be like,
Hey, yeah, just
let
any,
Bruce Campbell play an alternate Doctor Strange,
yeah.
like he was supposed to, I guess, apparently
I'm
at
I'm
some point.
all aboard the Raimi train, but I think that's what this movie benefits from is that it was produced by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and a few of the other producers from the original movie as well. So like they got to keep that uh, original you know spirit of the movie, I guess.
No,
Uh,
I really enjoy how much Sam Raimi still just loves Evil Dead. You
yeah,
know, I know it was like, you know, his creation and all that stuff, but like,
we do too. We do too.
no, yeah, very much so. But like, even then, like, you know, with Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV show, and you know, that first episode, him coming in and directing it and shit like that, and always having his hands still in it, even though it's not, you know, that's not all. You know, obviously he's doing Doctor Strange 2 right now. He's getting that Marvel money. You know what I mean? He's doing his thing, but I know that this new Evil Dead Rise, you know, I'm not afraid like, oh shit, because I know the man's going to be around to be like,
Yeah.
let's make this a hit.
The only
Let's
thing
make
I
this
could really hope from with Evil Dead, because that's like my biggest like thing with this movie is like, god damn it, like similar with Killer Clowns, man. This is up there on like a list of horror movies that like I want a sequel. I want a sequel to this movie, dude. Like I've they teased us, man, and I wish they had because even honestly, even if we don't get the crossover with Mia and Ash, like I'd love to see Mia again. Like I'd love to see her get brought back into the fold somehow. So even if she shows up in Evil Dead Rise somehow, that'd be fucking rad, dude. Like I'd love to see some more of this. Um, and the director of this movie, like I ended up, he became a person to watch out for me after this movie came out. Fede Alvarez, I believe is his name. And after this, he made Don't Breathe, which was awesome. And he reteamed with Jane Levy, who played Mia in this. I haven't seen Don't Breathe 2 because he didn't direct it, so I didn't like rush out to go see it. And Raimi produced Don't Breathe as well. Uh, and so that obviously there's something to that creative team. But I was upset to hear that he wasn't going to come back and do another Evil Dead movie. Like I don't know. I was just, but at the same time, it almost makes this Evil Dead remake even more special. That it's just its own little thing. Uh, I definitely think like if you're looking for something like gruesome, like if you're ever in the mood for like some true, just like really just like bloody, gory shit, like this is the movie for you. Like this definitely has some gruesome moments in it. Like when uh, she's cutting her fucking face with the tile, the splitting her tongue with the box cutter. Sheesh. The one in particular though that really like other than like the kneecap thing with the fucking machete, the fucking needle in the eye. dude. Like, oh, that
That's what I was
Eric,
just about to say.
oh, poor fucking Eric, dude.
I
Eric,
scream every time of that scene. So like I've got like a weird phobia of like eyes. I don't like people like touching my eye. I don't like watching people touch eyes and stuff like that. I think it's weird. So that scene in particular, yes, every time I literally will scream.
oh, it hurts so much because like it goes like through his fucking glasses and shit too.
And I because I believe
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the newest Child's Play had a scene like
yeah,
that
yeah,
where
yeah.
glass like broke and
Where they're like something right up by her eye. Yeah.
oh, I will literally like I don't scream too much, but that will literally get me to be able to be like I will audibly ah!
Like I said, there are a lot of moments in this Evil Dead that like I have to turn away from. I'm just like, God damn, like it's intense, dude. But like I love it. I love it. Like because for me, this whole movie just works. The scene, another scene that they take from the original is the bridge being down.
Mm.
Obviously in the original it comes off as way more cartoony just because of the times and the way like the what they had to work with. Where it looks like fucking obviously it's a miniature, and shit like that. But like they do that same shit in here, just a little different. Uh, the line of the demon being like, "I'll swallow your soul" or whatever is like swallow this. Like they do it both times. Except I believe the difference was like in the original he does it with the shotgun, and in this one she does it with the chainsaw to the fucking. And Mia still gets the hand off and the chainsaw hand and all that shit. So she definitely becomes the Ash of that particular story. I suppose I was going to say that universe, but technically, Ash exists within this Evil Dead. So
I wouldn't know how. I don't know how they were gonna do it, but
I don't know. I would have loved to see, even if we could get like, because I know they've made like the comic book like Ash versus uh, whoever he fought. Uh,
Freddie and Jason,
that's what I thought. That's
pretty
what
pretty pretty big names, two
That's what I thought. I couldn't remember because I remember
two
that being like
fairly big names.
I couldn't remember if that's what they did for the comic or if that was just the idea that they were going to have for the next movie after Freddy versus Jason, and they never followed through with it.
That's why they did the comic because that was the original. Like apparently that was the original plan,
That's right.
and they decided fuck it, let's do the comic. Which is actually if nobody's ever heard of this or checked those comics out, I think a pretty would have been a pretty kick ass way to like end all of those franchises in a really dope ass way to like
I've never read the comics.
bring them all together. It was wild. Like I think at one point, Freddie becomes like the president of the United States, and yeah, and he's like, and basically it's like Ash has to team up with the Dream Warriors from I think Nightmare on Elm Street 4, 3. Um, he teams up with them, and then what's his name? Corey Fieldman's little Jason Voorhees fanboy from Night or Friday 5, I think it is, part 5, maybe 6, somewhere. New
Uh,
Blood, I think it was, or something like
I,
that.
I, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He comes back and it's like they all team up to go defeat Freddy and Jason once and for all. And to
Also,
me,
the Feldman thing totally just made me remember what the movie was that I was like, damn, why didn't we put this on our 31 Slays? The Lost Boys. Somebody brought that up at the wedding the other day. We were talking about the Lost Boys. He's like, dude, that's my favorite movie like ever. And I'm like, dude, the Lost Boys, I fuck with the Lost Boys. So just a side note.
there's always next year, so. But like, yeah, no, like it would have been a really dope way, in my opinion, to like tie off all those series. And again, I'm all for Ash, so I feel like we should have got more out of that character. It was a big shame of the gap between Army of Darkness and Ash vs Evil Dead. That
Which I
we
still have to finish. I need to watch season 2 and 3 of
oh buddy,
Ash
you
versus.
really do, and that's another show that again at the same time They just they stopped that, and I feel like we could have gotten something. I
Also,
liked I
where's
liked
this
where they were going.
where's this video game at?
Next year, next year the game is going to drop. You know, and that's the one thing that still has me hopeful.
This,
I would love it if Bruce Campbell watched our videos or something. But the one thing that still has me hopeful that this man will come back and play Ash is that all the people that were in Ash vs Evil Dead with him, they're still hopeful that he'll come back because
Mhm.
they're like, you let him go wander out in the woods for a couple of years and do his thing, and he'll start missing that chainsaw.
Right.
And but like the way that a lot of people are talking about it is like, why don't they continue the show instead of doing it like live action? Yeah, he's getting old enough. He doesn't want to play Ash in live action. Do animated.
Oh yeah, it'd be rad. I'd be here for an Evil Dead animated series for sure.
Evil Dead animated series could get off the chain, and
I'm
they could get so more loonier than they've been ever.
Yeah, HBO Max. Come on, get your shit together. Prioritize.
Somebody can do this. Stars, somebody. Amazon, Netflix, somebody.
If this doesn't happen by the time we get to Hollywood, you best believe we're putting our money on animated.
I really would. I'd love it. I'd love to do something like that.
That'd be right. That would be so cool. Yeah, I would love to contribute to the Evil Dead universe. This would definitely be a sandbox worth playing for sure.
I feel like we tried to
I was gonna say,
with our summer
yeah,
camp.
I think that's kind of obvious given what we've been up to the past few weeks with Summer Camp of Horrors. Clearly, very, very inspired by Evil Dead as a franchise. And it all, for me, it really kicked off with this one, with the remake. Just being able to see what a remake could really, like the potential of a remake, could be, the heights it could reach.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And it's like Evil Dead. I love referencing it, like like how we are with what we're doing and stuff, because it was influential to me. It was just one of those movies. Late night, you'd be as a kid up watching, click on your TV, clicking through channels, and you just see these fucking skeleton guys charging a castle, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" And oh, Army of Darkness. That's weird. A lot of people don't know Army of Darkness is the third Evil Dead, just because it's not labeled Evil Dead.
Army of Darkness is the only Evil Dead movie I have not seen in theaters. I've caught everything else except for Evil Dead. Actually, isn't it like 2 nights from now is the 40th anniversary or the 45th anniversary showing of Evil Dead?
I believe it's the 40th. I'm quite upset at the moment, actually, because back in May, I believe, you can't really see them now, but I do have the Funko Pops. So they released a pre-order for Ash 40-year Evil Dead anniversary Funko Pop. I was like, yo, I don't have an Ash, so I need to get one. Um, and yeah, it's been delayed. So I should have had it by now already,
Damn,
and I don't. I don't, unfortunately. So it'll get it to me right after spooky season.
I'm sure.
And I know it's November like 2nd through the 5th. It's expected delivered now. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I could go on and on about this movie.
Oh yeah.
It's great. It's the franchise is obviously, like, if I had to choose a horror franchise that, like, to be my favorite, it'd probably be Evil Dead. It's just it's great, man. I just love the world. Clearly, if we're not going to get an invite to play in the Evil Dead sandbox, we'll be over dealing with our own Book of the Dead nonsense over the summer camp. That book be giving all sorts of people trouble. We're right there with you, Ash. We feel you.
We feel you, man. We need a boomstick and we need a chainsaw. We need some help. That would be the that would I wish, bro. That would be the ultimate cameo for the end of our summer camp, is to have a post-credit scene of him showing up as Ash.
Honestly, if somebody could talk us into a season 3 of summer camp, I'd be like, call Bruce Campbell. Call Bruce Campbell. Because at this point, if we have managed to get to a season 3, like, I like to assume that we probably have the money to do a season 3. in which case, how much money do we have? Can we get Bruce Campbell?
My brother,
Ash, dude. Like he can just be Bruce Campbell. Like that's fine. Did you ever
Like
see
I
that movie where he played himself?
the what?
The movie where he plays himself called My Name Is Bruce.
No, no.
Uh,
There's a lot more of him that I really want to watch.
yeah.
He is.
There's
I do love him as an actor.
My Name Is Bruce was a good one. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it was one of those things where he plays a fictionalized version of himself, which honestly I feel like we both do need to watch, just given how much Evil Dead inspired summer camp, and we play fictionalized versions of ourselves within the show. Like he is Bruce Campbell, who is known for Evil Dead, who is known for all this shit, and then like some spooky shit starts going down, Scooby Doo style, and there's like a demon running around, and they're like, "Yo, grab Bruce Campbell." And I feel like it's definitely got that Ash versus Evil Dead vibes to it. And I know another one he's popular for, another one I haven't watched in forever, that's still supposed to be getting a sequel, I believe, is called Bubba Hotep, where he's an old man in a retirement home who believes he's Elvis Presley, and his best friend is this black guy in a wheelchair who believes he's JFK, and a mummy gets loose in this nursing home. It's from the same director as John Dies at the End, um, and
Interesting.
it's wild. And apparently, a sequel is still in the works, I believe, called Bubba Nosferatu. So they're bringing vampires into the fold for the next one, but they're bringing back old Bruce's Elvis. So
Nice.
it's a trip. It's a fun movie. Old
We'll have to
Bruce.
check out some more. Maybe we'll do a whole Bruce Campbell marathon. Watch everything he's ever been in.
For sure. I don't see where that would not be fun.
He's been in some wild shit. So
Oh, I'm sure I have not even scratched the surface. I'm sure the things I just named off are nothing compared to what we can find Bruce Campbell in.
oh, I know some. I don't know the name right now, but I know some space. I'd like to say some space sort of movie that I've watched with him in it. And this was like back around like Evil Dead times.
I also feel like Bruce Campbell has a tendency to be in things that end way too soon. Like I always want more of it. Because there was a show that I started watching earlier this year called Lodge 49 that
Yeah.
had Wyatt Russell in it. I was watching it around the time we were watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I loved it. But there's like 2 seasons of it, and it's cut short. And like there's this character that like is constantly like alluded to and talked about like throughout this whole show. And when you finally get to see who it is, it's Bruce Campbell. And I was like, dude, yes. And then the way Bruce Campbell goes out in that show, like, is insane. And it's like only Bruce Campbell could show up and make this work, like in a show like this. So he's the god, he's the king, he is our
All
star,
hail the king.
the king, baby.
So gotta get a score in for this one.
Gotta get a score. It feels like I'm just being gratuitous, giving out 10 out of 10s, but because I feel like it's not going to be the last time I do this before these 31 are up. But I want to give this one a 10 out of 10 just because this sparked the love for Evil Dead. This movie influenced me so much, and it's one I always get excited to watch. I'm always excited to show it to people who haven't seen it before. I'm excited to watch this unrated cut. I've been waiting to get my hands on that forever. I don't give a shit if it's like 15 seconds more footage. I'm just excited to watch it.
I feel that. I give this one a 9.5, and only because she could have used more Ash. They teased it. They could have done more than tease.
Right.
They
I
could have.
almost went 9.5. I would honestly probably give it a 9.5 just because I haven't got my like they never let never lived up to the promise of the Mia Ash crossover. So,
But like,
in a world
I,
where we're gonna get an actual Django and Zorro movie, like based off of that comic, like can we please just get some more Ash? Like, come on.
I feel like it's fine to give out a lot of tens for this list because this is a list put together by us of movies we like.
Yeah,
Instead of
we enjoy.
instead of you know the Christmas ones, which are we're finding these movies and watching them for the first time and being like, this was trash
Right.
because it's
Or
very, very, very smaller pond.
right. niche, if you will. I mean, at least with 31 Slays, it's like we could do this for years and never like run out of like we never have to do the same movie twice for sure.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
The
Like we
trick
are
is to not do any holiday movies that were like, ah, shit. I'm
already my knees are knocking for 25 Slays 2 this year. But I don't know if there's not a Bruce Campbell horror Christmas, there should be.
There should be. I'm gonna look it up right now when we're signing off.
Maybe when we sign our contract for the animated Evil Dead, we'll also throw in an Evil Dead Christmas special just for us for the Hall of Slays.
Bum, 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 bum.
You know how much I would watch the shit out of a Christmas themed Evil Dead movie? Like now that I'm thinking about it, I honestly feel like that would be a rad fucking movie.
I don't know if this is Christmas themed, but this might be like Thanksgiving themed.
We'll add it to our Bruce marathon.
Well, he's in a movie called Black Friday that comes out this year. It says 2021.
We'll keep an eye out.
I'm not sure. When that drops, but maybe it drops on Black Friday.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows, man? I don't know.
I don't either. I think that's about it. Like I said, I feel like we go on and on forever just talking on Evil Dead.
There you go. It's already out. September 24th. It dropped.
There you go. Go check it out.
A different.
Check
out Evil Dead.
This Evil Dead. Unless you can't handle this kind of stuff, it's a little gruesome. Then maybe the original's more your speed. It's a hell of a movie. It's great. Slay 9 in the books. We're practically a third of the way there. Time flies when you're slaying away. Happy Saturday to y'all. Have a wonderful night. Peace.
Smooches and juices.